Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And I would like to say that today, which is where I am in Tokyo, Japan, the 15th of April, Saturday morning, the Criterion Collection, it appears, has on its website posted its planned releases for the month of July in this year of 2023. So if you haven't seen the Criterion website, which sets forth such releases, or such planned releases, I should say, I strongly encourage you, my dear friends, to go to the website itself, criterion.com, and see all the details and the films themselves and the planned cover art and the specifications and the included special features and the like, etc., etc. So you can check out the Criterion Collection website directly for, once again, their news about the planned releases for July 2023. However, for purposes of today, if you don't mind, let us, you and I, talk about our initial thoughts and reactions with regard to these July 2023 planned releases from the Criterion Collection. First up, this is scheduled for release July 11th, 2023. And this is for spine number 1184. And it's a film described as being from the year 1996. And the filmmaker is Cheryl Dunye. And the name of the film is Watermelon Woman. Watermelon Woman. And it's going to be offered on a one-disc Blu-ray, according to the website here. Before I continue, I should say, please, once again, I apologize for my poor presentation skills. I am showing my monitor screen here of the cover art design. However, of course, if you require to look at higher resolution pictures, please, I encourage you to check out the Criterion Collection website directly for such pictures, as well as information about the cover art, or not cover art, well, yes, cover art, and also information about the film, and also special features and technical specifications, etc., including information about this great work, The Watermelon Woman. Cheryl Dunye's work here, I think, is, on the one hand, it is a type of surprise, but also it's not a surprise, because as some of you may know, Cheryl Dunye's work, and also The Watermelon Woman specifically, has been referenced here and there along the way in the context of a number of other previous recent Criterion Collection releases, where among parts of the discussions of such releases, it had been noted that Cheryl Dunye's work had been in many ways, for various filmmakers, Cheryl Dunye's work has been so important and so groundbreaking, and thus so critical in terms of storytelling, and also in terms of storytelling of a very emotional and personal, and also a very intimately engaging way. And I think, therefore, to have the film Watermelon Woman, which is in many ways a very historically significant work in the context of modern American cinema, to have this now being part of the Criterion Collection physical media catalog is really fantastic. It's really wonderful. So this is cause for celebration. I know I say that a lot about many releases, but I really mean it, and I mean it about this film as well. This is a great cause for celebration. And also, there is a way in which Cheryl Dunye's work here, The Watermelon Woman, I mean, it's really significant for a lot of reasons. One of which being it does have a way of being very relevant. It also has a way of showing a sense of re-examining certain quote-unquote norms, end quote, and also enabling discussion in terms of a re-engagement about how things are viewed and things are perceived and things are felt. And I'll leave it at that, because I think I want to leave the conversation as open and as open to as much interpretation as possible, because I think that's part of the wonderful possibility of engagement for a work like The Watermelon Woman. This is really exciting news, as well as being a very engaging and a very personal and very emotional film about relationships and about perceptions and also about constructions, both both in terms of on-screen constructions, and it's played with, I think, and it's examined in a very clever way in this film, as well as how that is something that I think the viewers can, through one's own experience, through certain avenues or possibilities, engage with on a very, I think, direct level. So this is a truly great announcement. Really is. This is a great announcement, and it has a significance, and it also has a great 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 room for a lot of, I think, wonderful conversation, as well as being very engaging work and a very charming work and a very thought-provoking work. This is the work, Cheryl Denier's work, The Watermelon Woman. And as I say, it's going to be a Blu-ray disc, a 2K digital restoration supervised by the director and also cinematographer and producer. And also new, it looks like we have new supplements included, and also 6 early short films as well. So I'm not an expert when it comes to the release history of this work, The Watermelon Woman. So, and so I don't know what is new and what isn't. But in any event, that I think is further further indication to me that this is one that I'm going to be very excited about when it arrives. Well, actually, when I say when it arrives, because actually this is going to be released around the time that I'm going to be moving to the United States. So I won't be pre-ordering this. I'll be waiting to purchase this when I go to the States. So, but it's going to be a very exciting purchase indeed. So once again, my dear friends, this is for Spy number 1184, and it is the work which is The Watermelon Woman. Next, scheduled for release, also July 11th, 2023, and this is for Spy number 1185. This is a work which is described as being from the year 1985, and the name of the filmmaker is Martin Scorsese. The name of the film is After Hours. After Hours is now going to be in the Criterion Collection physical media catalog. It had been rumored, there had been so much conversation and possibility. Is After Hours coming to the Criterion Collection? Is it coming or not? And lo and behold, my dear friends, we have our answer today, and that answer is a bold and emphatic yes. Yes, yes, yes. After Hours is coming to the Criterion Collection physical media catalog. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And I should also point out that it's going to be made on offer either on a single disc Blu-ray or a 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo release. So you have the choice of either of those options, and based upon what's being described as a new 4K digital restoration, and also with a number of archival supplements as well as new supplements, or what are described as new supplements. Okay, After Hours. After Hours is coming to the Criterion Collection. Martin Scorsese's directed work, After Hours, is coming to the Criterion Collection. What a, how shall I put it, a hyperkinetic ride of a film this is. What a biting, acerbic, a funny, witty, zany, a confusing, swirling, almost a heated and journey through a type of inferno-like experience this film After Hours is. It is a great, glorious point in the filmography of Martin Scorsese. It is a great, glorious point in the trajectory, one can say, of a certain, say, aspect of 1980s American cinema. It is also a touch point when it comes to a lot of the great filmmaking prowess and gifts and skills of the professionals, the actors and crew, both on screen and also behind the camera, as well as being a very absorbing work that is Again, I don't want to put too much, I don't want to go too much into detail, but perhaps one way of describing it is about everything and nothing at the same time. And for what it's worth, that is truly a mesmerizing cinematic ride indeed. So this is, in many ways, a film that I think is, on the one hand, highly celebrated. It's also very much, oftentimes, and that's not a knock against the film, but maybe also it sometimes goes under the radar for a lot of, say, Scorsese journey people. So this is also, I think, a great opportunity to catch up with this film, to watch this film for the first time if you haven't already done so, especially for those who are engaged in exploring the works of Scorsese. This is very, I think, a very fascinating, volatile, and funny, and in many ways shocking and surprising stop along the way. And also, the film itself, the merits of the film itself, the worth of the film itself, the performances, the heightened performances, the way in which things sort of zigzag, go in and out of a type of contextual, a contextual realm, going into a sense of a highly skilled, cinematic, nonsensical work of art. That is also very engaging and very bewildering at the same time. I think this is part of the key this is part of the key of engaging, or one of the keys of engaging with this film, as well as absorbing or re-engaging or reconnecting with a lot of the touch points of 1980s cinema. So this is great news indeed. Now it's going to be another example of Criterion's application of the 4K UHD format for purposes of its commercial releases. This is very exciting. This has a great, I like the cover art design work. I think this is very clever indeed as well. I noticed here that it's our dear friend, Sister Hyde, doing the cover art. So well done. So I had the great honor of talking with Sister Hyde on this channel several months back. So we spoke about cover art design. So here is yet another great chapter in the cover art design of our dear friend Sister Hyde. Well done. I love this collage work. It has a nice sense of immediacy, and also it has that sense of the, how should I put it, 1980s urgency, if you know what I mean. It's great, really great. Well done. Well done. I'm very excited about this. I have this on a DVD, but that I don't have any other release of this. I did see it for the first time many years ago, but I didn't see it in the theater. So I'm going to be very excited to be able to engage with this film again in this 4K presentation, which I haven't seen the restoration version or anything like this. So I don't know what the details are about that. So I'll be very curious to see how that looks and feels and sounds. But in any event, another Scorsese work is coming to the Criterion Collection. It is After Hours. After Hours is coming to the Criterion Collection physical media catalog. Wow. This is very exciting news. July 11th. Wow, very exciting news. So, July 11th, 2023, for spine number 1185, After Hours. Next, scheduled for release on July 18th, 2023, and this is it looks like it's going to be a set or collection of 5 films. Again, July 18th, 2023, on a 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo 6-disc set, and it looks like this set is giving the spine number of 1186, and it looks like the individual films are not being assigned spine numbers, but again, this collection, or this total comprehensive release, spine number 1186, and it is this, which is the Renowned Westerns, 5 films directed by Boetticher. This is okay. And the films are The Tall Tea, Decision at Sundown, Buchanan Rides Alone, Ride Lonesome, and Comanche Station. So the Boetticher films, Bud Boetticher Westerns, are coming to the Criterion Collection. Starring Randolph Scott, and They are coming to the collection in 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo option, and it's described as being new 4K digital restorations by Sony Pictures Entertainment. And this is a number of what are described as being new supplemental features. This is really, really cool. This is really cool. You know, I discovered the Boetticher westerns fairly, I wouldn't say, well, yeah, fairly late in my life. And specifically, I discovered them or engaged with them for the first time upon my my purchase some years back upon its release of, I know some of you know the great label of Indicator, Powerhouse Indicator, and they had the opportunity or the option some time back of releasing what they called Five Tall Tales. Bud Boetticher and Randolph Scott at Columbia from 1957 to 1960. The set's right here, so and I still have it, and I've been I've loved this set, and it was a great, for me, it was a great it is a great introduction to the world of the Boetticher films, and indeed these films are now the subject of this Criterion release. So this was one of my lovely discovery points upon the great people, the great team at Powerhouse. And so this is just a shout out for the great work that the Powerhouse Indicator label is doing and continuing of doing. They released these films much earlier than Criterion did. So well done to the Powerhouse Indicator team for doing that. Now, that being emphatically stated by me, I should say here that this is very, very exciting news indeed. You know, these films, I think, they are, again, for someone like myself, they were a really exciting and ripe source of discovery, and also, again, a further engagement in very interesting and sometimes quite subtle and surprising ways into the world of the Western. So very, very exciting news indeed. And then the Boetticher Randolph Scott collaboration here is, of course, on display. And this is the key sort of selling point of this cycle of films, which is why also they're oftentimes referred to, I understand, in this cycle or set release format. So now we have them in 4K UHD opportunity. So this is going to be fantastic. You're getting a type of you're getting a multi-layered sense of entertainment, one can say. It has these really cool, uh, uh, and I say this in a very a positive way, these very cool genre entertaining or entertainment points that are also very much part of the deep and very how should I put it? They have a way of touching upon things that are very almost have a literary construction that go for so many level specific, say, roads of thought. Let me put it that way. So there's a complete package of multi-angled viewing that I think is possible for each and every Western that's included here. Very exciting indeed. I'm so thrilled by this. So once again, we have the Renowned Westerns, and this is the 5 films directed by Bud Boetticher, starring Randolph Scott. I should be very clear here. You know, the title is the Renowned Westerns, 5 films directed by Bud Boetticher. So we have the 5 films plus special features, and this is being offered on the 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo treatment. Now, I don't know what the situation will be for the packaging. It might be just a type of box set, or it might be one complete or one connected thing, or maybe the films might get their individual sleeves. Who knows? I should point out once again, I really love the Powerhouse Indicator release, and so you know, Criterion will be releasing their release with this set, I think, or the limited edition version, which is what I have here. This set very much part of the comparative analysis release discussion. So, but I'm looking forward to this immensely. So, Well done, well done. I will be rewatching these films this weekend in excitement and anticipation for this release from Criterion. So, once again, scheduled for release, spine number 1186 for July 18th, 2023. Next, scheduled for release, also July 18th, 2023. And this is a film which is spine number 408 and from 1960. And the name of the filmmaker is Jean-Luc Godard. And this film is Breathless. In English, it is referred to as Breathless. This film already exists in the Criterion collection, but I think I understand that this July 2023 release timetable is the occasion upon which Criterion will release the 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo. So, again, a very exciting announcement in the sense that we are, again, seeing Criterion re-release a film that already currently exists in their catalog, this time taking advantage of the new, or the relatively speaking, new format of 4K UHD. So, a word briefly about the film. This is a film that is celebrated for so many reasons. This is a film that is like a gritty crime thriller. It is a love story. It's a story about mystery and betrayal. It's also a story about a type of malaise of youth generation. It's also a story about, and also in the context of emerging late 20th century economies. And also it's a story about the playful banter between modernity and classicism. It's also a way in which, in that context of that discussion, how cinema falls into that playful banter in the hands of Godard and company. And when I say that, that's also my way of trying to say that this, therefore, is often discussed in the context of the emergence, the very bold emergence of what is referred to as the Nouvelle Vague, or the French New Wave, or the emergence of a type of, for lack of a better way of expressing it, a way of making films and making stories that seemed to, on surface value and also in the context of a type of content value, seem to take certain grammatical points of construction of cinema that were known in the quote-unquote classical mode of construction of cinema, and reinvented them, rearranged them, turned them on their heads to create a sense of a different type of grammar that would be, on the one hand, telling stories similar to stories that were told in the quote-unquote classical vein, while at the same time drawing attention to those stories, talking to those stories, and thus talking to us. And so it was a way of almost changing the axis of how cinema would be engaged with by the viewers. And that changing of the axis, or a type of recalibration of that axis between the film and the viewer, that was, I think, part of the way that films like Breathless and other films from that era really caused quite a stir indeed. So, with that being said, Breathless is, in many ways, one of the key examples of this. It is also so very fun and engaging. It's also very much part of an era, so you're getting a sense of the era, the times, late 50s, early 60s. And also you're getting a sense of the filmmaker, Godard, as well as the performances on camera, and Jean-Paul Belmondo, Gene Seberg, etc., and many others. And you're getting a story that is very challenging on the one hand, but also very much part of the crime thriller genre element on the other. So it's borrowing certain expectations of genre while also turning those expectations into something that seems to be formulating a whole new basis. So I think in many ways, therefore, Godard's Breathless is, again, celebrated historical significance as well as one heck of a great piece of cinematic entertainment. Now, in that way, we have the 4K UHD option being made available. Criterion already has this on a great Blu-ray. If you want to watch it, if you haven't seen it yet, and if you are in the neighborhood for purchasing a Blu-ray, and you want to check out Godard's films, Breathless is the place to go, really. But if you want to wait for the 4K UHD, please, please, again, it's coming to it's going to be released July 18th, so not very far from today. Again, we'll have to have that discussion like we always do, which is Criterion doing enough when it releases a 4K UHD version of a film it already has released on what could be said to be a very sturdy and robust and reliable Blu-ray already? I mean, Criterion has done this before. It has a really high quality Blu-ray, but then it later releases the 4K UHD version. And oftentimes, what is the difference between the two? Is there enough of a difference to warrant spending the money to purchase this 4K UHD version, or is it enough to have what is already a very high quality Blu-ray? So again, we'll have to have this discussion when the time comes. But in the meantime, this is a great opportunity to cast this film back into the spotlight and attention of film enthusiasts the world over. It has been in the spotlight since its release, and it continues to do so, perhaps. And if releases like this or announcement like this from Criterion will continue to put this film in the spotlight where it deserves to be, then I'm all for it. So, my dear friends, July 18th, 2023 is the release of the 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo edition of this film from 1960, which is Breathless. Last, but certainly not least, we have a film which is described as it's going to be made available or to be released July 25th, 2023, for spine number 1187, for a film described as being from the year 1992, from the filmmaker Carl Franklin. Another Carl Franklin film is coming to the Criterion Collection. It is this film, One False Move. One False Move, and I should say that it's going to be made available either on a single disc Blu-ray or a 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo edition. So, my dear friends, One False Move is coming to the Criterion Collection. This is exciting stuff. Wow, this is very exciting stuff. I remember when this film came out in the early 90s, and this coincided with my own, say, how should I put it, awakening of cinema journey, of wanting to know more about films. I mean, the phrase independent cinema was emerging a lot in the early 90s. And One False Move and the release of One False Move and the name Carl Franklin and the people that were appearing in this film and the type of story that it was, this was part of that dynamic, part of that fabric of early 90s, again, quote unquote, American independent cinema, end quote. And I should point out too, it was Siskel and Ebert as well. The way in which they were really championing this film, Roger Ebert, right? They were really championing this film, and it was a relatively speaking, quite a small production of a film. So the fact that it was getting this much attention created its own, buzz and its own publicity, which I think, rightly so, gave the film all the attention that it really deserved. And so it had this wonderful run. And again, it called attention to the voice of Carl Franklin, to call attention to the extreme brilliance of this film, One False Move. This is a really, really great film. And it's very, very tense, and it's very subtle and detailed. It's so great. It's such a great film. And so, again, when I was a teenager in the early 90s, it was films like One False Move that came up and that were part of this conversation that then led the way to what could be said to be this really exciting period of American quote unquote independent cinema of the 1990s. So One False Move in that way is very, very historically significant, as well as being a great example of this thriller film, as well as being a great example of the works of Carl Franklin. I am so happy. I'm so happy that Criterion is releasing another Carl Franklin film in the Criterion collection like this. They released Devil in a Blue Dress some months ago, if you recall, my dear friend. And I should have guessed it. I should have guessed it at the time, because Devil in a Blue Dress, there was some mention here and there, some discussion, a reference to One False Move in the context of Carl Franklin's career. Devil in a Blue Dress, also really important in the context of Franklin's career. What a great film that is as well. If you haven't seen Devil in a Blue Dress yet, check out the Criterion release. It is awesome. It's awesome. But at the time of that release, I was thinking, and I know other people were thinking similar things, which was, oh, wouldn't it be great if One False Move were also to be released by Criterion sometime soon? And I thought about that, and I think, oh, wouldn't it be nice if that occurred? Well, what do you know? As things would have it, Criterion had its One False Move card up its sleeve all the time for us to celebrate, and for now, for us to anticipate its July arrival to the physical media catalog. Wow, wow, wow. One False Move is coming to the Criterion collection in, again, Blu-ray disc release or 4K UHD Blu-ray combo release. The choice is yours, my dear friends. I'm going to opt for the 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo, I think. And it says new 4K digital restoration here. So I'm very curious to see what that entails. I don't call myself at all an expert when it comes to the transfer or presentation or release history of One False Move. So I can't speak to those details, unfortunately, when the 4K restoration release arrives on disc. But that being said, I'm still going to watch this again and again. This is really exciting. This is really, really exciting. One False Move is coming to the Criterion Collection physical media release catalog. So, Carl Franklin film, another Carl Franklin film, is coming to the Criterion Collection release. This is exciting indeed. Once again, July 25th, 2023, spy number 1187. This is the film One False Move. Okay, my dear friends, so there you have it. That's the planned release schedule for July 2023 for the Criterion Collection. So what do you think about this, my dear friends? What do you think? I've already mentioned what I think about each of the releases, and my comments might change or my viewpoints might change, my opinions might change when the actual release is in my hands and I'm able to watch the film watch the release proper. Once again, I won't be pre-ordering these because this is falling into that period when I'm going to be making my move to the United States. So I can't pre-order it because I won't have an address in Tokyo to have these sent to. So when I go to the wherever it might be, the Blu-ray store, I'll check out the Criterion section and I'll try to make those purchases. Maybe during the course of a sale. Who knows? Fingers crossed in that department. Now, what about this release collection as a whole? I should point out a number of things. Of course, we have the application of the 4K UHD format for most of these releases, which is very exciting. Again, with maybe the caveat of we should once again draw our attention to a real sharp, critical look at how a film that is already existing in the Criterion Collection catalog, and I say a Blu-ray, will be handled when it's released, what appears to be more or less in the same clothing, in the same packaging, in the same release appearance this time in a 4K UHD format. So I'm speaking here of Breathless. So not to take anything away from the film, the glorious, wonderful nature of the film itself. Again, this is the way in which Criterion is applying its 4K UHD releases in the context of already pre-existing titles in this catalog. So this is, again, part of that discussion. So we'll have that as well. But or regardless of the end result of that discussion from my perspective, it could be positive, it could be less than positive, but regardless of the outcome, that the film is being cast this spotlight, this attention in this way, again, well deserved, and this is a great opportunity for those who have seen the film already to revisit this film. And if you haven't seen the film Breathless, this is a great opportunity to do that as well. So wonderful, wonderful job here. Now, also for the other films, The Watermelon Woman, this is, I mentioned before, this is a film that I hope gets a lot of attention, and I hope a lot of people get a chance to watch this. I think it's such an intimate film and a very clever film in many ways. So very excited about this, as well as the Boetticher titles, and this time in the 4K UHD option. In a very clever set of films. And then the Scorsese work, After Hours. Wow, this is, I think, groundbreaking in a lot of ways. And then One False Move, the Carl Franklin film, another groundbreaking film. My heart is beating quite fast in anticipation for this. This is an announcement that is very exciting for me. And I would assume that it's exciting for a lot of other people as well. I don't see any DVD announcement. In other words, I don't see any of these titles which has the DVD option being made available. Now, in past announcements, I'd noticed that maybe not for all the releases, but maybe for some of the releases, there would be the DVD option here and there. So I'd always remark as to how I would appreciate that, because I love the DVD format. I think the DVD format is still very important for purposes of keeping that option of physical media alive and well, because DVD is still very important in that realm. But the fact that I don't see any DVD indication, I don't think so anyway. I'm going to go back and check, but I don't see any DVD indication for any of these July releases. So that's something to keep in mind. Of course, Breathless, I should point out, Breathless, which already exists in the Criterion Collection, does have a DVD option, and it's still currently made available. So that counts, I suppose. So that's one thing. But in terms of the new releases, none of these new releases is given a DVD option. So I don't know what that means. Maybe it means something. Maybe it means nothing. Who knows? But let's keep track of that. Again, I think the DVD format is very robust, very significant, very important. So, but we shall see how it figures in as we get more and more of these high quality Blu-ray 4K UHD releases that, who knows, may be expanding the customer base market going forward, or maybe not. Who knows? I'm not sure. But I'm not a detailed watcher of the market per se, so I don't know what the specific market movements are. I don't know how many, right? So, how many purchases of 4K UHDs are made in a given, say, a period or geographical location. So I don't have that data on hand, unfortunately, but I can only speak from a type of subjective perspective. But be that as it may, I do, from my own subjective perspective, have the strong intuition that DVD is still very important. So we shall see. This is something that I'm actually, the more I think about it, the more maybe I'm not concerned. I don't know, maybe that's too strong. But again, it's something that I'm thinking about. So when the next announcement comes from Criterion, that's something that I want to check to see if they're going to do any new releases with the DVD format being made available or not. So again, something to keep in mind, to be continued. Also, I should point out that I like the inclusion of this. I don't know what the set will look like. The collector set. Speaking of the Boetticher westerns, I don't know what that will entail, but it is more than one film. So it's 5 films. So that might entail some kind of multi-disc set. I mean, it does indicate, what did it say? 6 discs. So 6 discs. So I'm assuming, and it's the 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo release. So 6 discs. So that's some of those discs will be the 4K UHD, and then others will be the Blu-ray. That's my assumption, but we shall see. But how that will lay itself out in terms of the set construction, the actual physical box dimension itself, we shall see. Again, one of the things that's so great about Criterion is the way in which it releases these deluxe editions, these great sets. The previous month, in June, we shall see the release of the Pasolini set. So again, very exciting to see another set or another collector set, or the potential of another collector set, at least in the context of the Boetticher Western. So that's also something to keep in mind as well. And so I think, let me end there by saying this is a very exciting month of releases indeed. Another exciting month. I guess I say that about every release or release month. And so maybe I should try to cast a little bit of a self-critical eye at myself and try to be a little bit more varied in terms of my responses. So I'll try to keep that in mind going forward. But if you'll pardon my lack of variety, let me then end by saying I'm very excited about this July 2023 release announcement from Criterion. I'm very excited about this indeed, for the reasons that I've tried to state here. So how do you feel, my dear friends? Please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what it is you have to say. All right, my dear friends, thank you so much, as always, for your time. I very, very much hope that all is well with you. And until we see each other again, please be happy and healthy and well. And please, 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 please keep on watching a lot of great, great movies, including Criterion and beyond. So until the next video, my dear friends, thank you and cheers.